On the night of August 12, 1961, a shadow fell over Berlin. East German soldiers began to unspool miles of barbed wire. They tore up the streets. They erected concrete posts. This was the beginning of the Berlin Wall. It was a physical barrier built to stop a flow of people. Millions had fled the Communist German Democratic Republic, or GDR, for the Democratic West. The GDR's leader, Walter Ulbricht, had secured Moscow's permission. He wanted to halt this exodus. The wall would seal the border between East and West Berlin. It became a stark, brutal line dividing a city, a nation, and the world. The structure grew more formidable over the years. What started as simple wire became a complex system of control. It was not just one wall, but two. Between them lay a death strip. This area was filled with sand, tripwires, anti-vehicle trenches. Armed guards watched from over 300 watchtowers. They had orders to shoot anyone attempting to cross. The wall was 155 kilometers long. It encircled all of West Berlin, cutting it off from the surrounding East German territory. It was a prison wall, not for those in the West, but for the citizens of the East. Life behind the wall was one of surveillance and restriction. The Stasi, East Germany's secret police, created a climate of fear. Neighbors spied on neighbors, phones were tapped, mail was opened. Freedom of speech was non-existent. People longed for the basic rights enjoyed just a few meters away in the West. Yet, they adapted. They went to work. They raised families. They lived their lives under the constant grey presence of the wall. Still, the desire for freedom never died. Over 5,000 people attempted to escape over its 28-year history. "We just wanted to be free," one former East Berliner recalled. The Berlin Wall became the most potent symbol of the Cold War. John F. Kennedy famously declared "Ich bin ein Berliner" in 1963, showing solidarity with the city's western half. Ronald Reagan, in 1987, directly challenged his Soviet counterpart. He stood at the Brandenburg Gate and demanded, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." These words echoed around the world. They gave voice to the hopes of millions trapped behind the Iron Curtain. The year 1989 was a year of seismic change across Eastern Europe. The Soviet Union, under the reformist leadership of Mikhail Gorbachev, was weakening. His policies of glasnost, openness, and perestroika, restructuring, sent ripples of hope through the Warsaw Pact nations. For decades, the threat of Soviet tanks had crushed dissent. Hungary in 1956, Czechoslovakia in 1968. Now that threat was fading. The first significant crack appeared in Hungary, which began dismantling its fortified border with Austria. A hole in the Iron Curtain set off a ripple effect to Leipzig. Thousands of East Germans seized their chance, flooding into Austria and onto West Germany. Back in East Germany, a peaceful revolution was brewing. After prayers at St. Nicholas Church, people marched. At first a few hundred, then tens of thousands, chanting, "Wir sind das Volk," "We are the people." The regime hesitated. Honecker resigned. Egon Krenz promised reforms. Too little, too late. Under unbearable pressure, the government decided to ease travel restrictions, with consequences no one predicted. The evening of November 9th, 1989, began like any other. At a press conference, party official Günter Schabowski read a routine notice on travel. Asked when it took effect, flustered, he searched and could not find a date. "As far as I know, it takes effect immediately, without delay." The words hung in the air. News flashed. East Germany opens its borders. Within minutes, people started walking to the wall. At Bornholmerstrasse, crowds gathered. Guards under Harald Jäger were confused, outnumbered, and afraid of a crush. Around 11:30 p.m., Jäger ordered the barrier opened. The crowd surged through. The wall was breached, not by force of arms, but by the force of people. In the days that followed, the wall became a monument to its own demise. The Mauerspecht, the wall woodpeckers, chipped it away. Cranes and bulldozers arrived, removing sections and clearing the death strip. A scar that ran for 28 years began to heal. Less than a year later, on October 3rd, 1990, Germany was won again. Die Wende, the turn, brought challenges, economic shock and unemployment in the East. Yet the overwhelming feeling was triumph and unity, rippling across Eastern Europe. The Cold War's symbolic end hastened the fall of communist regimes, and the Soviet Union itself dissolved 2 years later. The fall of the wall showed that entrenched systems can be brought down by ordinary people demanding their rights. Today, Berlin is vibrant and united, wearing its history openly from the East Side Gallery to Checkpoint Charlie. Barriers built to divide are ultimately fragile. The human desire for connection, for freedom and for hope is stronger than any wall of concrete and steel. If this moved you, share it. History belongs to everyone.